everyone, this is Brittnee Bond, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, I am excited to share with you a major download that I have been getting in the last 48 hours as I go through my own personal growth. And I've been chatting with a bunch of my girlfriends about this, and I feel like it's important to share that as women, in order for us to step into our full potential or full power in this lifetime, we have to let go of some deep societal programming around women that I think a lot of us are not aware of. And that's why I felt inspired to make this podcast. And I'm just going to say it and then I'll explain it. In order to allow yourself to be fully seen in this lifetime, and to really step into your full power as a woman, you have to let go of the fear that being seen and being powerful is going to create disconnection in your life. I know that might not make sense at first, but I've really dove into this in my psyche, and I was like, whoa, this is like really a deep belief, and I don't think that this is like something, I don't think I came up with this myself. I think this was like put in me, and also by witnessing my mother, the women in my life growing up, society. Like as women, we have this programming to be quiet and to be perfect and to look beautiful and, kind of to be the good girl. I talked about this in my last podcast with Alaska. Highly recommend checking that one out if you haven't already. I'm trying to get situated in my seat. But anyway, so to be the good girl archetype is like to just kind of not make a fuss and like in English we say not rock the boat. So do what is already kind of established, fit into the box of like what looks good, what is acceptable societally, socially. And I think the reason why we do this as women and why we like subconsciously a lot of times follow this programming is because we have such a deep inner desire as women for connection. Like we are tribally, from a tribal perspective, like primally in our genes from thousands of years ago when we actually lived in tribes, we are here to be a cohesive unit. Like women, we are tribal beings. Like we want to be together. We want to have our sisters around. We want to have our family around. We care about each other. We are collective beings. I think that's what I've been trying to say. We are more collectively minded as a gender than I would say men are. And I'm not trying to put anyone in boxes or anything. I'm trying to let you activate something in your psyche that is a really good thing, to be caring about each other and to be caring about the earth and to be caring about our future generations. Like, is there anything going to be left for them, or have we destroyed it all before that happens? And a lot of us, because I talked to a lot of my girlfriends about this, and this is something that a lot of us legitimately worry about. And yet, like, I guess what I really want to say here, and this is like straight downloading, is that right now the world is on a very pivotal point in time. There is a crossroads being like happening. Like there's a split in the timeline of how we could go as a society and as like individuals and collectively. Individually and collectively. And it actually takes each one of us, men, women, other, to step into our personal sovereignty. What does that mean? I'll say it first and I'll explain it. It takes each one of us stepping into our personal sovereignty as individuals and choosing to think for ourselves and to be these individual creatures that are choosing to support what is good for the collective in order for us as a species to go down a timeline in the world that is actually going to be good for the planet, for us as a collective, and for us individually. So what does it mean to step into your personal sovereignty? First off, you have to think for yourself. And a lot of us are not realizing that so much of our base programming is coming from the news. It's coming from social media. It's coming from our parents. It's coming from our religion. And if you are not looking at your own personal beliefs and asking yourself, do I want to believe this? Is this a belief that I choose personally, or is this a belief that I'm following in order to make sure that I have connection to my family, my religion, my tribe, my society? Because if you are not authentically believing that as a person, if you were just by yourself, would you believe this? Or are you going along with this in order to create connection between you and the people that you love? That is a very hard question to actually honestly answer within ourselves, because so many of us have such deep programming to need connection from the people that we care about. And I say all of this because I actually went through this myself. I grew up in a religion that I actually didn't believe in, but for most of my early life, up until I was 24, I told myself that I believed it because I so desperately craved the connection of my family, my community, and my community was my entire religious community. I grew up, 4 generations back. Every single person in my family were Jehovah's Witnesses. So both sides of my family, and not only that, it's like every person I was close to growing up was in this religion, because we weren't really allowed to make close connections outside of the religion. So my entire world was part of this. And as an individual, I started to recognize slowly, it wasn't a quick flip of the switch, but slowly I started to recognize, wow, I don't actually believe this. And the way I started to recognize it was I started to get really depressed. I started to have panic attacks. It was the first time in my life where I started to gain weight, and I was trying to eat my feelings away. And I didn't feel safe in my body, but it was more from an emotional, psychological perspective, because I was literally allowing myself to be brainwashed. And I say that I was allowing it because I was staying in the situation longer. I left when I was 24, I wasn't a child. I got married to someone who was Jehovah's Witness. I stayed in this religion. So I allowed myself to stay in a situation that I knew, even on a subconscious level, maybe consciously I wasn't aware of it, because I was so afraid of the disconnection that I knew was going to happen if I consciously allowed myself to recognize that I didn't believe in this religion, that I didn't believe that the world was going to end at every single moment, that I didn't believe that homosexuality was a bad thing, that I didn't believe that you had to wait till marriage to have sex, and that you only can, the only true religion was Jehovah's Witnesses and every other religion was going to be destroyed. I didn't believe this. I believed that we are, as creator beings, we each have a spark of the creator inside of us. Every single person on this earth has the ability to connect to a higher power. And it does not need to come through a specific religion. Religions were just created trying to help people originally connect to that higher power, but in the end started to use it for their own benefit. They basically started to suck on the power of the people and claim that they were going to help you connect to God, a higher source. But in reality, a lot of this is not actually connecting people to a higher source. It's just controlling them and giving them some sense of community. And that's the exchange that's happening. I will give you a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, a sense of community, and you will follow what I say as a religion, and you will give me your allegiance, and you will give me your life force. Because a lot of my life growing up was spent volunteering in the religion and preaching for going door to door, trying to convert other people to this religion, giving the religion all of my money. And again, none of this was quote unquote forced, but this was something where there was so much programming, and it was directly, the reason why I'm saying this, it was directly connected to my sense of belonging, my sense of purpose, and my sense of connection to my tribe. So the reason why I'm saying all of this is that in order for you to step fully into your power, you have to be okay with you out there, you beautiful listener. A lot of you are my close friends who listen to this. And if you're not my close friends, I would love for you to be my close friends. I view every single one of you who listens to this podcast as part of my community. And I really activate all of you to start being more active in this community and to write comments and reach out to me and let me know how you feel and let me know how you think, because we're doing this together. We're moving through this really crazy time in the world together. And yeah, I might come on here and be like, this is the person I'm dating and this and that. But you know, a lot of that is just to try and like make some of it fun, because a lot of it is actually not so fun these days. I'm choosing to make it fun. I'm choosing to add meaning through connection and through play. But there's a lot of work I do behind the scenes that is, I would call it fun in the sense that it's purposeful and meaningful. But at the same time, I need to tell you that we are going through a really rough time as a collective. And the only way that we're going to make it through, this is bringing me back to what I'm trying to say before, the only way we're going to actually make it through as a collective is that each one of us has to do the work to be really brave and to be our authentic selves. And you being your authentic selves probably means that you're going to shake things up a little bit in your community, because if you're listening to this, you're probably a starseed like me who like soul chose to come down here and activate the collective. A lot of people do not want to be activated. They want to be asleep, and they can keep sleeping if they want to spiritually. We're talking about spiritually. They can just like put their head down and complain about the world and not actually get anything done and not actually change anything. That's okay. Each one of us has our sovereignty is you making a personal choice and being in charge of what happens in your life. So this sovereignty comes with, choosing whether you're going to awaken spiritually and be aware of what's happening in the world. And as a soul, if you're choosing not to do that, it's okay. You're going to maybe do it in the next lifetime. But right now is a very pivotal moment as a species, as a collective, as the earth, because every single one of us is getting the opportunity to raise our vibration collectively. And if we don't, then we will get that opportunity maybe in the next lifetime. But like right now, in order to really play the game, there's something in my nose. In order to play the game, like in this timeline right now, you need to wake up. And in order to wake up, you need to really be okay with disconnection. The reason why I'm saying that is in order to actually step into your full power and step into the version of you that your soul destined for you to be before you came into this lifetime, is you have to really allow yourself to think for yourself, to feel for yourself, to move in the world in the direction that you feel intuitively you are meant to go. And that might ruffle some feathers. That might not make any sense to anyone else. But if it's the way that you are meant to go and it's what your intuition and your higher self is guiding you to go, then you need to do it. And you will find your people along the way. I think this is what I want to say is temporary disconnection from the people who are not actually meant to be in your life. Like when I left my religion, I encountered a lot of disconnection from my family, my blood family, my spiritual family at the time, which was this whole community of people I was raised in. And these were like my close friends. Some of them were my best friends I'd known my entire life, and they were like, okay, you've chosen to not be part of this religion. Then like, we don't want to talk to you anymore. And that was really hard for me, like a lot of people that know the full story, they're like, people tell me like, I'm surprised you didn't kill yourself. And I'm like, well, that's like not a nice thing to say, but I understand the sentiment that it took a very strong soul for me to go through this. And I'm going to cry as I say this. I was at a psych dance on Sunday, and I actually had this download that like, because basically I know what I need to do next in my life, and it's like really big and it's like really scary for me. So if you see me kind of like floundering around on social media right now, or like my voice is not as strong as it is in this very podcast, it's because I know what I need to do next and it's scaring the shit out of me. And I'm allowing myself to come to full terms with it. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because it's like, a lot of people look at me and they're like, wow, Brittnee's life is perfect. Or like, yeah, she had a rough breakup last year, but she really came out strong. And like, And like, I have the best villa on the island and the queen of Koh Phangan, and I'm throwing all these play parties, and like life is just magical. And it is all of those things. And also, when you are someone who has gone through a lot of trauma in your life, one, from a soul perspective, you just like understand that you're meant to be doing a major thing here in the world, because like every trauma that you've ever gone through is actually, it is words. It is getting you ready for the thing that you're meant to do. And so like for me, from an ego perspective, someone could say like, oh wow, yeah, you're just saying that because you want like all the things you've gone through to mean something, And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Of course I want that. And also from a spiritual perspective, I can see like when I'm meditating or when I'm on psychedelics or in dreams or when I'm making love, like that I am meant to be doing something really big in this world. And it's not for the faint of heart, as we say in English. It's not for people who are like ready to just hang out on an island the rest of their life. Like basically, I'm being called to go somewhere off this island, and that's scaring me because this is like a very safe space for me. I know everyone here. I've lived here for 5 years, and it would be a lot easier for me to just stay here and make these podcasts from my balcony overlooking the jungle and go to the gym with my best friend in like 20 minutes and, like go take afros to the waterfalls and just hang out. And I will always come back here. I will always come back here. But like I need to go do something first, Anyways, at a psych dance I was dancing. I like woke up and I like was like, I need to work out and I need to make a podcast. And I need to like do all these like things in the world. And then I was like, fuck this. I need to go dance. Like I need to go be in my community. I need to go like, I could feel it, like some energy really needed to move through me. And so when I was at the dance, I was like, I can go like straight into spirit when I'm dancing, right? And I was getting this download that like a lot of times I was the one in, this was the download. A lot of times in my life, basically since I came down here as a soul, I knew that I needed to go first in order to like bring everyone along the way with me. And I was asking like the question, I was like, why do I have to go first? I would love to follow someone else. I would love for someone to tell me what to do, like I don't really necessarily want to be the leader here. I would just really like it if someone told me what the fuck is going on. Because a lot of times I don't even know. I'm just like following my intuition. And it was saying like I was getting this download from Spirit that it was like, you volunteered for this. Like you care so much. And you are like so connected to all of us that like you volunteered to like go the farthest away because we knew that you would always come back. And on that journey back, you're going to like bring everyone with you, And I was like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home to where things make sense. And that is not on this fucking planet. And then one of my really good friends, Torga, just like leaned over and gave me a hug. And then another friend came and gave me a hug, and I was like I'm not alone, like I've already found a lot of you, and we're like doing it together. And that makes me really happy. And that's what I mean by like every single one of you is like part of this, like if you want to be. If you want to like put your head down and act like none of this is existing on a spiritual level, you can do that. But why would you do that when we're like meant to do something really big together? But like in order to be ready for that, you have to be okay with disconnection, because you can't be following the status quo and then making this big change in the world spiritually. You know, like, it's going to take a lot of us being really brave in order to change the world. And it's going to take a lot of us taking, each one of us has to take personal responsibility that the world is ours to change, and has to kind of have this like fuck you attitude to pissing people off. And I say that in the nicest way possible, because I think you have to ruffle some feathers in a caring and loving way in order to actually change anything. A lot of people, when they wake up spiritually, they want to like literally, like I did this for many years here in Copenhagen. I was like, I don't want to fight. I just want to be at a waterfall and be peaceful. But like fighting, like I don't personally agree with violence. I don't agree with physical violence, but like there is a fucking spiritual war going on right now, and it's energetic, and it takes each of us being willing to play this game and to fight back energetically in order for us, the people who actually care about the earth and each other and where we're going as a collective and wanting to make that a positive thing. It takes us being willing to play this game and to fight energetically and spiritually. And if you don't know what that means, all I'll tell you is the first step. If you're getting a little overwhelmed and like lost on what I'm talking about, the most important thing here is to ask yourself, if you're going to take anything away from this podcast, is to ask yourself, am I actually showing up in my life in an authentic way? Or do I care about what other people think? Do I care about disconnection? Am I worried about disconnection? And is that blocking me from actually showing up in my life in the way where I am taking up space and actually being myself all the way? And being yourself all the way is like being, that's what I mean. Like you kind of have to be in this like badass attitude in order to really push through some of these programming that we have and these negative beliefs. You have to be kind of like, fuck it. I don't care if I'm going to cause disconnection. I'm not hurting anyone by taking up space in my life. I'm not going to be the good girl anymore. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to speak up if something bothers me in a nice way, but I'm going to say something. I'm going to take up space. I'm going to be protective over myself and the people around me that I care about and the earth. You know, like I'm going to take personal responsibility for making the world a better place. And if each one of us did this, we would start finding each other, as I have started to find many of you. And we would start coming together and we would start talking about all of this stuff. And things actually do get better. So if you are someone who is listening to this and you're feeling really overwhelmed by the world and where it's going, and you're a very sensitive soul like me, and you can feel the energy in the world, and you can feel that it's like there's a lot of fucking things happening out there, and you're wondering what to do, the first thing you have to do in order to really play this game is you have to be okay with being yourself all the way. Because when you are being yourself all the way, and you're like allowing disconnection from the people who are not meant to be in your life, then you will find that the people who are meant to be in your life will be attracted to you when you're actually shining as your real authentic self. And that's fucking beautiful. And those are the people that will be the ones where you'll come together and you will make the world a better place together. So if you are constantly complaining about the world or you're in fear about what's happening, do something. Use that energy and really allow yourself to believe. A lot of us have been a lot of people want to feel like they don't have any control over the world because they're worried that if they take responsibility, they'll fail. They won't actually be able to change anything. But it's less about whether you succeed or fail in actually saving the fucking world right now, and it's more about you allowing yourself to be a main character and trying to do something about it. So if you're like on the sidelines just complaining and not actually believing that you have any personal power in any of this to make it a change, and you're allowing the news to put you in fear of some immigrants over there or this person over here or, you know, the war that's happening, if you're allowing this to infect you, you're actually allowing yourself to be disempowered, because each one of us is a main character in this game if we choose. And the way that you choose is to say to yourself, I have the power to change something, and I'm going to do that. And it will come to you once you make that decision. I'm not going to sit here and just complain about the world. I'm not going to sit here and let myself be frozen. And then therefore, when you're in fear, you are easily manipulated by the powers that be, whoever they are. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm just saying, when you are allowing yourself to be in fear, you are easily like knocked over or like pushed into the direction that someone else wants you to go. When you are grounded in yourself, when you're doing your meditation, when you're connected to your source connection and getting the downloads, not from me, from your own source connection, every single one of us has it, then you will be guided in the direction that you are meant to go, that actually makes the world a better place. And you will be guided in the direction that helps you to find your people, your actual spiritual tribe. And a lot of times this is not our blood family. Like my spiritual family, my chosen family was what I call them. They are all from all over the world and so many different variety of backgrounds. But from a spiritual, energetic perspective, oh my God, we can feel each other. Like sometimes when I hang out with them, I just cry because it feels like home. It just feels like energetically we are home and we are our authentic selves and we are moving in the same direction in the world. And it's so much more fun and so much more excited when we do it together. So, as I said in the beginning of this podcast, in order to step into your full power, you have to allow yourself to be seen as your authentic self. And in order to be seen as your authentic self, you have to be okay with disconnection from people that are not vibrationally resonating with your authentic self. And that means that they don't even really like you as the real you. And that's okay. Because when you let go of those people in your life, as I have done in the last year, I've let go of a lot of people that I've had in my life for many years that just do not resonate with me anymore as I become more and more my authentic self. What happens is the people who are meant to be in your life start coming into your life very quickly. And when you are moving in the direction of what you want to do to make the world a better place, and each one of us has a soul mission to make the world a better place. When you start moving in that direction, the people that are meant to be in your life and that are moving in the same direction are naturally vibrationally attracted to you. So you will never be alone, even if you're alone for a little bit. I have been alone for a little bit a lot of my life. And sometimes the aloneness actually isn't when I'm actually physically alone. It's when I'm surrounded by people, but I know that I'm meant to be somewhere else, which is what's happening right now. I'm surrounded by all of my friends here and all of my community, and also my soul is calling me to go somewhere else. And that feels lonely sometimes because it would be easier just to stay here. But then we're going to have a podcast where I'm telling you about how I moved and everything was perfect. And even if it wasn't perfect, it's what I was meant to do. And I'm following it and I'm being brave and I'm putting myself out there and I'm being my authentic self. And I hope by me doing this, it will activate you and inspire you to get off your butt and go do what you're meant to do in the world. I had a friend of mine that I've known for, I don't know, over 10 years. I knew her when I was married, and she wrote me a message recently, and she was like, I feel like when I listen to your podcast, there's a part of my soul that gets activated. And I was like, I feel that. I feel that. When I first started doing psychedelics, I was 28. I had never smoked weed or done any psychedelics until I was 28. And I took a lot of mushrooms one time and sat by myself in the jungle. And I had a download come to me that I needed to sit with women and just activate them. Like, this is part of my soul mission, is just speaking to you and allowing you to really feel activated by this vibration that is like coming through me. I'm just allowing myself to be a vessel. And this is also to men. But I think there's something about me being a woman who has gone through a lot of things and come out the other end and choosing to be in my power and choosing to allow myself to really shine. That is very activating for a lot of women. And I want it to be. I'm here for it. I'm like, if I can do this, you can do this. And if you can't do this, then that's a belief that you can shift, and it's possible. Everything is possible. All you have to do is choose that you're going to shift into a more empowered version of yourself and allow your higher self to guide you on that path of what that means for you. And you will get there. You always do. I believe in you. Okay, I'm going to go to the gym with my girlfriends. I hope you have a beautiful day. And I'm dedicated to being more authentic and sharing my voice more in this way. Because this is what I'm here for. I hope you have a beautiful day. See you in the next podcast.